Hi, I'm Mo.
Hi, I'm Jamila.
And we are back today having the sex talk.
Yes.
The sex talk.
Yes.
Today we are going to talk about talking dirty.
So exciting. It's both an exciting topic and also one personally fraught for me.
Okay.
Because I always associate dirty talk with phone sex, and I don't do phone sex.
You don't ever?
Nope.
So if a partner's like, hey Jamila, I really want to have phone sex with you tonight, you're like, no.
I'd be like, we need to reschedule until you can be in person. Or can we Skype? That would be...
Skyping is phone sex.
Okay, then I can Skype. But
Skype
with
sex.
the phone,
Okay.
I just...
What is it about phone sex?
There's something, it feels very disconnected for me. I love having in-person experiences, people's eyes, and you can see their breathing change.
Mm-hmm.
There's just more information.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, Skype is a version of that.
Right.
But on the phone, they're just this voice, and it's...
You don't know what they're doing with their hands, their body, their
Right, and
breath.
I can't hear enough. I can't hear it, so it just feels very thin. It's
Interesting.
okay.
I feel
Can you flap harder or something?
I feel like Jamila would be an ideal candidate for this talk.
Help me have the dirty talk.
Because I truly feel that talking dirty is a completely oral, A-U-R-A-L, sensation, and that is a huge turn on for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also very orally driven. In other words, my eyesight isn't as good, I don't have really good facial recognition and things like that. But I can tell people's voices, I can tell people's footsteps, and when I hear someone saying sexy things, that is a humongous turn on for me. I'm turned on by people's voices, people's the cadence of their voice and things
Rhythm, tone,
are a huge turn on for me. So if someone is talking dirty and saying really, really nasty things, that is a huge turn on.
You're
for me.
Yes, Houston, we have liftoff.
Yeah.
And I love what we're talking about just in these moments of how, and I want people to know this is a transferable skill, is that we're very aware of what works for us and what doesn't and why. Yeah. So that we can create circumstances where we get more of what we want because we know what we like and what we enjoy deeply.
Yeah.
But and so I would say when I do classes, and I think both of us have done classes on dirty talk, on eroticism, people get really nervous around dirty talk. They're like, I don't know what to say, it's going to be awkward. And dirty talk can really cover, again, it could be sexy erotic talk. For some of us, so how would you describe
super raunchy, so like you said, there's moments for any of it. So one thing I'm going to reference here is the 5 love languages, and I am by far always scale really high on words of affirmation, words of appreciation. I am a words person. So if someone tells me I'm sexy or I look beautiful, I'm oh,
it does
that does a lot for me. And in much the similar way, if someone's talking dirty to me or saying really nasty, raunchy things, that's super sexy and hot to me too. Anything you say to me, I'm listening. And in much the same vein, I dated someone for a long time that used to say really harsh, critical, mean things to me, and I had no attraction to them whatsoever. It killed my sex drive because I would, what people say matter. And that's my love language. And so for me, dirty talk is everything. Everything. It doesn't matter what you're wearing, how you smell. If you're saying the right things, I will melt.
And it's so wonderful to know, that's my thing.
That's my thing.
And these other things, and that you can use when you're trying to meet a person or when you're in relationship, how to deepen relationship. Oh, I like this. But I would also say that with dirty talk, or as I like to, sexual talk or sensual talk, it doesn't always have to be 4-letter words. And sometimes people think that dirty talk has to be I'm gonna F you this way and and for some of us that's incredibly sexy. Bring on the 4-letter words, make dirty, raunchy,
Bring it.
Bring it.
Right. But
and for others of us, that's not sexy, or it can actually be off-putting.
Right.
So finding your way of doing quote unquote dirty talk or sex talk.
Yeah, your sex language, basically.
Your sex language.
There's a book that I often use in sex therapy, and it's Linda DeViller's book, Love Skills.
Okay.
But the reason this activity I love, it's helping people develop their language around sex.
Yes.
So going down the list of what words you like for breasts, what words you like for your genitals. Maybe you hate the word cunt. Maybe you love the word pussy, or vice versa. Maybe you hate the word dick, but you love the word cock.
Right.
Or you hate them all and you don't want to hear any of those ever. Like, you need to know that, and you need to be able to express that to a partner that you're with, because what if they're saying cock all the time and you can't stand that word?
Right, and now you're feeling aversion to them and frustrated.
And you're turned off, and like the sex is not happening. Yeah. Like, language plays a huge role in sex, and so I love that exercise, because you should do it for yourself.
More homework.
And maybe I'll post a link,
Yeah.
in the
maybe that's something
comments.
we could start doing. It's like books that we find useful, or other blogs.
Or even just post the actual activity on my website and then have a link to it, because I think that activity in and of itself can help you get in touch with what you really like when it comes to having a sexual, sexy language.
Definitely. Definitely.
Because communication is sexy, but some people are like, I like no words. I like no words at all during sex, which sometimes I'm like, is that because you've been conditioned to not like words? I do wonder too, because I don't think somebody should be completely wording the entire time, because that implies they're not feeling as much, because it takes a certain level of brain power to put words. But I do think that putting some words to the act, it is important, and I do think a lot of times there's a lot of shame around saying what we want, hearing somebody say it, being seen, wanting. And I think it's actually so important to push against that, and to put words around the things that you like and want, and the hotness and the vulnerability that. I think that you're really touching on a really important point, and that is that, if you are feeling awkward around talking dirty or talking about sex with your partner, there's probably some shame there. We don't live in a society that supports us in having a language. Right. We're not really allowed to say words like pussy and cunt unless they're in a derogatory sense, or joking, or but we put it off to the side. It's dirty. That's low. That's bad. If you're in the heat of the moment and you talk about a pussy, that is really hot and exciting. But we laugh. We laugh awkwardly. Is that bad? Is that gross? Or we're oh my god, I can't use the word pussy, or I can't use the word. We're so afraid of saying these words. And there's the words that we have. Or if you don't like those words, let's find other words. But let's put words. A lot of them are really erotic, and they really turn us on. And a lot of it is because they're taboo. Right. But if we can learn to say them, even if it's just in the heat of the moment, I think that we're gonna just experience so much pleasure and freedom and liberation, and being that sexual being, and that person that we can be. I completely agree. And so one thing I've also will suggest for people, if they have trouble using pussy and cock and dick and all of that, then they can, but they still want to say something, you can describe what's happening. You can describe what you like. It feels amazing how you're playing with my nipples. It feels. I love feeling you inside of me. Right. Whatever's happening, you can describe that. Yes. Yeah. And that can be a wonderful way into your body, into the other person's body, giving them information about what's sexy, that you're there, that they're there with you. Yeah. Yeah. I love the description. I would Google sex dirty talk, or sex talk, or something like that, and see what words come up, because I think it is hard for people to be creative and in the moment, especially because we're judging. Because we come from a place of judgment around. Can I say that? Is that bad? Is that, yeah. So it's some language beforehand. Yeah. It's hard to be creative when you're judging yourself. So those two things do not go together. Yeah. So if you want to be creative in the bedroom, or while you're being intimate with someone and playful, but it's you feel a little blocked, it might be because there's some shame and some social conditioning around. You're not supposed to do that. And that can be shifted, and I think that's what we definitely want you to know. Wherever you are in your sexual journey,
if you are dissatisfied with it, you can expand that and grow that.
Yeah.
And I think it could be fun, you know, pick a Sunday afternoon with you and your person, or you by yourself, and just like go and like go through the list, and you know, it might turn into
write some words down that you hate, like
be like those words.
Yeah, like I don't necessarily love the word tits.
Yeah, that word does make me laugh. Titties does make me laugh.
I don't. Please don't refer to my bosom.
Right. I would rather.
I don't know if I like bosom either, but
like, I feel like
tits, like, let me see your tits. I'm like, these are a little bit too big to be tits.
And the titties
too
just
voluptuous to be tits.
There's like nothing titty about them. They're like, no, these are breasts.
These are like gazoombas. I don't know what they are.
Or like Eddie Murphy coming to Cassava melons.
I don't know if I like that either. Maybe I'm just like I have an issue with like boob words, but boob is a good word. I like boob.
Boobs, breasts, like that's fine. Titties does like makes me laugh. Not a sexy word.
Yeah. But on the other hand, I do like pussy. I like pussy a lot.
That's a great word.
I don't care for cunt too much. I think because there's too much affiliation with it being used sort of as a negative connotation.
Yeah. There's a great book, Cunt, and that book for me changed my whole feeling around the word cunt. So I now love that word.
Cool.
But yeah, like a lot, and be aware. I don't want to say be careful, but I want to say be aware.
Yeah. Pay attention.
Certain words have major emotional charge to them.
Yeah.
There's certain words that literally will shut somebody down, or certain phrases that will shut somebody down.
Yeah.
So the more that you can be aware of what are the phrases that shut me down, what are the phrases that open me up, I think that can be really helpful.
And I find that a lot of time when people are like, I don't know what turns me on, they're a little bit disconnected from this side of themselves. They find like it's because what really turns them on is this oral, like things that they hear, but they just don't hear it often enough.
Right, to be able to recognize.
To be able to recognize it. So play around with that a little. If you can watch porn, like porn has a lot of language, and see how that makes you feel.
And actually, we're gonna do a video at some point on porn because there's so many different types of porn out there, and you can find ones that have the language that feels right for you.
There's all kinds of porn. There's like porn that has language that you don't like, and porn that has language that you do like.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll find something between the stuff you don't like and then some sort of
Victorian
language.
The thing about it is the Victorian language. But the thing about it is like if you don't experiment or explore a little bit here and there and watch a little porn and read a little erotica and have a little sex and experiment and read books around it, like you're not gonna know.
Right.
And so like we're giving you permission today to go and like figure out what your sex language is, basically.
Absolutely. Go taste things. Go see things.
Yeah.
Go listen. Go listen hard.
Go talk hard.
Yes. Yeah. Listen hard and talk hard.
Yeah. Record yourself.
Yeah. That sounds really fun.
All right.
Ooh, and I'm like, maybe maybe I just want to hear myself.
Ooh, maybe you just want to hear yourself. It's kind of looking at yourself in the mirror, but like listening to yourself.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Now I think we have some homework.
That's right. We have homework. We have a lot of homework.
We do. It's such a pleasure.
Yeah, we enjoy it though.
We do.
So we hope you do too. We want to give you permission to do that. So
go and have fun.
Yeah.
All right. We will see you next time in the Sex Talk.
Sex Talk.
Bye.